Hello there, it's me, Sari, here again, and today I'm here with video number 4 in my fun card fold series. Today I'll be showing you how to make a pop-up book card. When you are closing it together, it'll look like an open book in the card, sort of. In this case I have used stamps from Vilda Stamps, and I've done a lot of collage stamping around the page, as you can see. And then I've done the cutting, and then I've matted on 2 panels and even die cut a word out of fun foam. I'll be playing around with different measurements today, and well, basically we are going to make something similar to this. It's like sort of like looking like a spider with all its legs and everything. And I thought that we could make a bigger card this time. It's going to measure 12.5 by 8.5 in total size, but of course if you're going to fold it together it's going to be 6.25 times 8.5. And why I did that was because I wanted the book part to be a little bit bigger, so I would actually have some room to put in some proper things. If you're interested in making some of those smaller pop-up book cards, you can go onto internet. I'll see if I can find a link to put in the description box. This time I found something that was in centimeters, but I found that all those centimeter lines and everything perhaps weren't the best way to go about it. So I played around and found some inch marks instead, or inch measurements instead. So the paper, the sort of booklet cover is going to be 12.5 by 8.5 inches. So that's what I've got here, and I'm going to score it in the center, which is going to be 6.25. So I think I'll just I have pre-done that, let's say, and then I'm going to go ahead and make this bit. So I have this piece of paper, and I thought that it was going to be rather dull having it white on white in this video, so I thought that I could make another card, just have some more decorations on it. And in this case I have used a lot of stencils from Tim Holtz in order to create this sort of a background, and I'll be putting in these 2 panels in the center, 1967, because that's the year when I was born, and I'll be putting this one in the front. And I've used those hipster stamps from Tim Holtz, and some of these I'm thinking could be Crazy Thoughts or something. And I have made a background with the same stencils and in the same colors as well. So it's going to be, you know, you're going to recognize yourself when you're peeping into the card. So let's see, I do have the measurements here. So first off, I like to sort of put out a mark. Well, let's see if I can make it work. I'm just going to talk to you about the marks beforehand, and then I'm hoping I'll be able to do that without any lines on this paper, so I don't have to do some erasing afterwards. What I usually do at first is put the paper in this way, so I can do the marking of how wide I want this paper to be, and I believe this one is 1.5 inches wide. It is. So that's why I have drawn the line all the way across here, just so I know where to put my marker. After that I have started marking out the marks for 2 and 3 inches in between those marks, you see. And then I've gone ahead with the 6-inch mark, continue with the 9 and a 10-inch mark. So that's where the scorings are going to be. But I also need to do some score marks for 3.5 inches as well as 8.5. And then I could just turn the paper over and do the same thing. So let's see if I succeed with that. I'll start off with the scoring. I do believe that I perhaps need to put a little bit of a mark here somehow, just so I know where to place things. So let's see. I haven't got any guidelines, but I do know that 1.5 it was here. So I'm just going to make a small mark there. And if I'm going to take 1.5 out of 8, it's going to end up at 6.5. So I think that I'll be able to do that. And somehow I would like to have something up here as well, so I know where to start. So I'm basically putting up a ruler against the edge there, so I know where to start. And then all the fun begins here. I need to make some marks at 2. I need to do some score marks. It wasn't as easy as I thought, was it? Well, I do have those there. I think I could do with a couple of more. So 6.5, and I'm just going to put a line there, and 1.5, and I'll be putting a mark here, just so I have something to guide me by. Let's see if I can make this work, shall we? So I'm going to do some scoring, and in this time I have my first score mark at 2 inches, so I'm just going to trace it here and sort of start there. I'm going to push it, and I'm hoping I'm able to be in the groove. I can go down all the way down there. So let's do it again. Just trace it and then push it in there, like so. The next thing is going to be 3 inches. Trace it and then push. Do it again. Trace it and push. I'm going to move ahead to the 6-inch mark, and in this case I'm just going to drag it all, just pull the all the way down 6 inches. Another time, and I'll be moving ahead to the 9-inch mark, trace it and then just push. I have the mark there and I have the mark there, so I do have something to let me go there. 10, trace it, start here somewhere, and there. So now I have done my scoring. I think that you might be able to see it a little bit better here somehow. There, 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 and even there and there. So what I'll be doing now is taking out my trimmer, and I do like the Martha Stewart trimmer because it has got a really good amount of rulers, which you can see black on white. It has got a ruler on the arm itself. It has got a magnifying glass, so you really know where to put your pointy trimmer bit into. So what I'll have to think about now is the 1.5-inch mark, because that is the width I'm having on my panel. I could also have a look, see that I know that 2 inches is the first mark, so I could actually put my needle at the 2-inch mark. And since I know that I have got, what did I have now? You know what? I actually did a boo-boo there. I need to put it up there because otherwise I won't be able to get the measurements right. So 1.5 inches like so. 2 inches there. I'm just going to put it, pierce the paper like that. And I'll be cutting it down to 10 inches. Then I'll do the same. Put the paper up on top, 1.5-inch mark there. Pierce the paper at 2 inches. Cut it down to 10 inches. So now I could see that if I have all the score marks all the way through, so I know that I'll be able to do the scoring or the creasing properly. So now the fun bit actually begins, because I do have a guideline here. I know that the book part is supposed to go up, whilst the side panels are supposed to go down. So I think I'll just start with those. I'm going to crease those down like that, and I'm going to take that one upwards. So I need to work in opposite directions with this one. So the next bit is just take that one down and that one up. So actually I'm going to do it like this. Hold it in my hand somewhat, if I can make it work. I'm just going to turn it over, it's easier. And then I can do it like this with that one. I'm going to repeat the same thing. I need to go up and down, I believe. Up and down. And now the thing is to actually make it work. I mean, it's a good idea to strengthen your score marks like this. So I'm just going to put it like that. And I'm also going to make sure that I have all of it completely put down like so. So now I'm having something like this, but I have actually forgotten about those now, have I? So it's always something. It's always something. So 3.5, and now I can actually go from the top down there, and I have the 8.5, 8.5, and I'll be doing the same thing here. 3.5 and 8.5. So in this case, since I'm having those up, I need to make those topping. So that one and that one. So let's see if I can make it work better this time. Let's see. Perhaps I did make this in the other way. Well, you know what? This one actually went in the wrong direction. I need to make them go the other way around. No worries. Just push them like so. And I have that one there. And this is more like it. I'm used to having this sort of look to it. Of course, it's going to differ when I have changed the measurements. If I'm going to compare it to, let's say, this one. I haven't got as... This one is going to go higher than this one, actually. Let's see if I can prove myself to be right. Well, this one needs to go up. No, it doesn't. It does, I think. There is something wrong here. I'm thinking I'll be able to make it right when I'm going to glue it down anyway. So this is the way it's supposed to be, I believe. So, is it? Let's see. For goodness sake, Sari, what are you doing? If I'm going to have it in my... It needs to be like this. So I'm actually having the measurements on the back side. That's where I'm going wrong, isn't it? So I'm actually right when it comes to this. And this one needs to go down instead. So now I think it's looking more like it's supposed to look. And what I need to do now it's actually correct. Let's see if I can make it work like this. And let's hope I haven't destroyed anything but with the measurements and all. Because I'm supposed to be able to put it flat. There is something here that isn't correct. This is more like it. I'm feeling more secure now I am actually. So now it seems like I've done a good job with the spider legs, as you see. So what I need to do now to keep in mind is when I'm going to do some gluing, I'm just going to put some glue here, here and here on both sides. Otherwise, if I'm going to put too much glue, I won't be able to have the opening mechanism. But what you need to think about now, of course, is where are you going to glue it down? What I did was I left, let's say, 1/2 inch around it. So basically I'll be gluing it down like this, and I'll be having the card folded like this and just going to pick it up like that. So in that case it's going to end up in the right place, I'm hoping. Let's see. So it will have that possibility of actually folding and closing it like this. So let's start with some adhesive. So just keep this book closed like that. Put in some tape. And now I have to make sure that I'm getting it lined up somewhat. I'm sorry you can't see the frame of it better, but I'm thinking this is going to be all right. So now I have it there like that. And all I have to do now is put some more adhesive here. And I'm just going to close it down like so, push it together, cross your fingers now, here we are. Here we are. So let's see if I did a mistake with the measurements there. I'm hoping I didn't. Because it seems like I did something here, and it's 3.5 there. It's almost 3.5. So there's something wrong here. Almost 3.5. Almost 3.5. Okay, so perhaps it is, well, this one is more than almost. So, but basically do yourself a prototype before you do this, so you know what to do and make a note of your mistakes. So let's see if I can glue these down. I'm thinking that could actually work. I'm sort of would like to make them pop with some double-sided tape, foam tape, but I'm thinking it will increase the thickness in this book, so I think I'll just glue them down as they are. So I think I'll just settle for 2 lines like that. And I did the same thing with these. I just used a different color palette to the stenciling, and I used the number stamps from Tim Holtz. Let's see if I can show you the package in a second or two. So I was thinking that this card could perhaps, you could perhaps do a proper greeting card for somebody, and instead of just having the big numbers, let's say if you're turning 40 or 50 or something, you could actually have the name, the year that you were born, or that person was born. You know what? 12.5. You know, I have to measure it later on, don't I? I'm just going to erase that away, and I'll be putting this one here. Sometimes the tape just doesn't, for goodness sake. Like so. And I have the right side there, and I'll be making sure that I have some kind of a even looking frame. I might actually do it like this. So there we have it. A pop-up book card. It's rather busy, I must say, but I could see myself perhaps making a back to it also. Perhaps continue with those stencils and Distress Oxide inks and brushes and those stamps. And perhaps even do some stamping with texts and just continue making this one pop even more. But I'm happy I sort of made it work anyway in this video, because sometimes, even though I have done the preparation pretty well, it just goes mad. So here we have it, a pop-up book card, and I'll be seeing if I'll see if I can find the other sort of links for you. And here is the number, or the number blocks, CMS 222 is the set's name, and the stamps come from Stampers Anonymous, and Tim Holtz has his fingers in this, in the layout of these. I'm going to sign off right now. Bye bye.